This is episode 25 of the Shame Proof Your Life podcast, the one where I talk about being beautiful. I'm your host and life coach, Danita Brimmer. Have you ever received a prompting that you ignored for a long time, like 17 years? This podcast is that for me. I'm telling my stories, I'm learning from my past, and I'm inviting you along for the ride because I know my story can help others. I am not alone, and neither are you. Hello, welcome to the podcast. So, I'm recording this the night before it comes out. So, if you are listening to this on Monday, July 5th, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. And if you hear fireworks in the background, that is why, because I live in the suburbs and people get really antsy and they've been setting off fireworks for days. So, I wanted to talk about the process I took from viewing myself as ugly to being able to view myself as beautiful. And to be honest, beautiful seems kind of like a strong word still today, but that's sort of the general overall gist of today's episode. It's a really common problem. In fact, probably every woman I know, I'm trying to think, every woman, I don't know, maybe not every single woman, but I would be surprised if any of them didn't not like a part of their body. Or if there's anyone that I know of, I would love to know. Shout out to me. Do you think you're beautiful? Usually, most girls and women, I mean, and guys too, right? They don't want to be beautiful, they want to be handsome. Most people do not think highly of their physical appearance. So it's something that a lot of people have shame around. Now, I've talked about my teeth before. I dedicated an entire episode about my teeth and how my teeth were very crooked, very buck front teeth as a child that I think really affected how I viewed myself in the continuum of ugly to beautiful. Now, well, maybe I did think I was ugly. I think when I was really young, I did think I was just like straight up ugly. Like I just wasn't one of the pretty girls. I As I grew older and as my body developed, I recognized that I was very blessed to be naturally thin. And, I don't have small boobs, so I've got a nice shape for a woman. But even in high school, I like my sort of uniform was a pair of jeans and an oversized t shirt because I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I didn't want to like, I thought I was ugly, and so I kind of wanted to cover up. Now, it wasn't, like, extreme, like, I would never show my face anywhere, but I just was like, "Okay, well, that's just not my thing. I'm smart. I have other things going for me. I'm not pretty." And when I met and started to date my husband, he started to tell me pretty much daily, I don't know if every single day of the past 22 years, but he basically started to tell me very constantly that he thought I was beautiful. And at first, I was just like, "Oh, you just want to date me. Like, you're just saying that. That's just what you do." Right. But you guys, like 20, over 20 years of someone saying, "No, I really think you're beautiful. I think you're pretty. I think you're hot." Like he uses all the adjectives. I know some women have problems with some of the adjectives, but really he uses all the adjectives. He's constantly telling me how pretty I am, how attractive I am, how he feels lucky to be with me, not just because of how I look, but that is a part of it. And, after years and years of that, you kind of start thinking, like, could I be wrong? So I just want to tell you about a moment that sort of broke this open for me. So for years and years, he would say, "No, you're very pretty. I think you're beautiful. You look so nice today." And I would just totally deflect all of that. I would just be like, "No, no, no." I could never just say thank you. And sometimes this really bothered him. He's like, "Hey, can you just take a compliment?" And this also is a really pervasive problem with women, I think, is because we have this kind of critical judge inside of our minds and we have this shame of how we view ourselves, we're not able to just say thank you because we don't believe it. We don't think it's true. We have to like fight for our opinion on the matter. So one day, and this is probably, I want to say about 5 years ago, so about 15 years into our marriage, I was standing at the mirror brushing my teeth and I was thinking about how he always tells me I'm beautiful. And then the phrase beauty is in the eye of the beholder popped into my head. And I thought, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because that's like one of the phrases that you just hear, it's super common. I had never really sat down and thought about it a whole lot. I kind of dissected it in my mind. And I thought, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that means that my husband can think I'm beautiful and I can think I'm ugly, and we're both right. And that is what cracked the door open to my own self image shift. Just this concept of he could be right and I could be right, and our opinions could be completely opposite from one another. And it just started my brain going down the path of, oh, it's possible he's right. I can still be right. Like I didn't have to give up my story right away, but I could concede that he could think I was beautiful. Up until that point, I couldn't do that. I couldn't concede that he could possibly think that I was pretty or beautiful or anything like that. I just thought, he thought I was funny or smart or responsible or, all the other facets of my personality. But that moment, I realized that he could actually be right. And I could still believe that I was right. But it just eked the door open in my mind in this area of my life just enough to let in possibility, right? It's possible that he's right, that I am beautiful to him, right? And then I didn't even like actively work on this. It was, something that kind of came back. Of course, I'm a woman in the United States in 2020, 2021. And so, we're immersed in this culture of, you know, valuing looks. So I didn't have to actively think about it, but occasionally, or probably even daily, when thoughts about, how do other people think of me? Am I pretty? Should I wear makeup today? By the way, I don't wear very much makeup, but like those types of things pass through your mind on a regular basis. And it was just enough that I was like, oh, but remember, like it's possible that I am pretty to some people. And over the years, I kind of went from I'm ugly to, okay, yeah, I could see how some people could think I'm good looking to, yeah, I'm pretty, right? And I wouldn't say that I think I'm beautiful, although for sure my husband would argue with you on this, but there's no part of me that thinks I'm ugly anymore. And I can look at pictures of myself or videos of myself and I don't cringe. I don't pick apart little things, right? Which is what I used to do 2.5 years ago when I started my business as a life coach. It like I would video myself and my clients, and then I would try to go back and listen and watch so that I could become a better coach. But it was so hard for me to watch myself on video or even to listen to myself, my voice, that it was like, I'll do that later. And I would procrastinate it and I wouldn't really do it. But now I'm so used to seeing pictures of myself and video of myself, mostly for my business, really, that it doesn't feel uncomfortable. And at least for the ladies, but probably for everyone out there listening, that is a huge shift. That is a huge shift in self-concept. And it started with this idea of just introducing possibility. So I want to keep this episode short and sweet because I know it's an area that a lot of people struggle with, but I don't want to make it any more complicated than if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, is it possible that you could be beautiful or you could be athletic or you could be thin? Pick your adjective, whichever one is the one that you're always seeming to strive for. is it possible you could be that? And you can also hang on to your own story if you want. Just introduce possibility. You don't have to go any further than that, but I do think it just cracks the door open for more exploration and for bigger shifts in your belief about yourself, your self concept, your body concept. I know this is an area that so many of us struggle in, and I want to, and I think I'm not alone in this, in just like there is no shame in however it is you look. Seriously, like every body is beautiful in its own way. If you can just even get to that, right? But I don't even want you to get to that necessarily. It's just, it's possible that everybody is beautiful in its own way. All right, that's enough for now. And so are you.